Chapter 35. Breaking the Formation. Ang. The sinister dragon showed a fierce look, it roared, and rushed towards the 100 heavenly blades. The ferocious aura formed a black storm. Outside the valley, the demonic beasts grew more and more frightened and confused. As the sinful dragon's sinful aura rushed towards them, the black-clothed people were in a flurry of agitation, and together they looked towards the ninth Duke. The ninth Duke's eyes glared. HMPH. This dragon's might of yours, it's all bestowed by my grand formation, using something I bestowed. How dare you defy me? The ninth Duke said with cold eyes. As he waved his probing hand, the 100 heavenly blades completely condensed their form and chopped towards the sinister dragon. Ang. The dragon's might was vast. Although the cultivators in the valley were lifted to the ground by the sinful dragon's chi, they were not annoyed at all. On the contrary, they were clenching their fists and looking at the sinful dragon with infinite expectations, hoping that the sinful dragon would be able to block the 100 heavenly daggers beheading. At the mouth of the chessboard, after Gu Hai landed his heavenly yuan, the pattern of the chessboard suddenly underwent a shocking change in general. As the sun was dropped, large swathes of white discs were instantly raised. Boom! Hundreds of heavenly blades and sinister dragons rushed up with a bang. Inside and outside the valley, nearly everyone stared wide-eyed, only to see endless white light blossom at the collision, piercing everyone's eyes blind for a while. Huge sound, the impact of rolling airwaves straight to the four directions. The valley immediately set off a huge storm in general. Everyone was still staring at the center of the blinding explosion, even as they fell to the east. Ang. A dragon roar rushed out from the center of that light. Bang, bang, bang. A large number of heavenly blades burst apart, with fragments shooting down the earth in all directions. However, the sinister dragon was seen opening its mouth and swallowing nearly 30 complete heavenly sabers into its mouth. It was a furious rampage, defeating the heavenly sabers and swallowing them. Ang. In a roar, the sinister dragon's footsteps did not stop, charging straight into the dark clouds. What? The sinister dragon can still charge. Countless cultivators revealed a look of ecstasy. Gao Xianzi and Meng Tai, however, were staring at the chessboard. On the chessboard, as Gu Hai Chuanyuan's single piece fell, the entire situation completely changed. All the advantages of the white pieces were completely lost. The black pieces didn't have the upper hand, but rather, they were overwhelmingly and completely victorious. Impossible. How can a sinister dragon swallow a heavenly sword with the death attribute? Heavenly blade extermination formation. Crush the sin dragon for me. The sound of Nine Dukes' roar came from the dark clouds. Gu Hai stomped to his feet and looked at the high sky, revealing a cold smile. It's too late. The heavenly blade life and death formation is beyond your control now. Break, boom. The sinful dragon rushed into the dark clouds and tumbled up with a roar. For a while, wherever it went, the dark clouds collapsed, and the Nine Duke manipulated the grand formation to quickly strangle the sinful dragon. But the sinful dragon had already become a climate. Even if it had to kill its heavenly sword, it still swallowed it as it was. Boom. Between the dragon's tail flinging, a large swath of heavenly swords were immediately flung away by the collision, and the rolling dark clouds suddenly burst apart. Vaguely, one could see a hint of outside sunlight through the dark clouds. Roar. Sinful dragon claw direction. Immediately smashed a piece of heavenly blade. Blade-type dragon scale exploded erect, impacting all the surrounding heavenly blade. The sinful dragon opened its mouth, even more while swallowing momentum, wildly sucking heavenly knives. Heavenly knife huge, 100 feet long. But the evil dragon has now reached 400 feet big. Huge body, tossing and turning, can bring out a wave of storm. The storm raged. The cultivators in the valley were constantly overturned on the ground, while outside the valley, a large number of demonic beasts fled under the dragon's might, and some of the saber chi even rushed to the outside of the valley, causing a mess outside the valley. Chop at the chess player. Chop at the chess player, all of them. The ninth duke's face was grim as he maneuvered the grand formation. The heavenly swords were unable to destroy the sinister dragon, so they chopped the source, but at this moment, it seemed as if the grand formation had long been out of the ninth duke's control, and between the tumbles, there was chaos. The heavenly swords were many, but, as the great formation was destroyed, it was spontaneously bursting apart. Boom, 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 boom. The dark clouds were filled with the sound of explosions. The sinister dragon rolled over again and again, blowing up countless heavenly blades and dark clouds. The dragon's tail even stretched out of the dark clouds and flung it towards a group of demonic beasts land. Boom! A mountain peak exploded. Ong! The dragon's might roared to the heavens, and the previously huge heavenly saber of life and death, rolling dark clouds, turned fragmented for a moment. In the valley, the dark clouds fragmented, and a ray of sunlight shone down through the dark clouds. The sinister dragon rolled in the dark clouds, and the rolling storm rushed straight into the valley. The cultivators who were swept by the storm were ecstatic at this moment. Long live the ancient rudder master! Long live the ancient servant lord! Countless cultivators cheered, and some of them even burst into tears of joy. Rumble! The chess platform, where Guhai was located, suddenly had a large number of cracks appearing. It was obvious that the sinister dragon high in the sky had already destroyed the grand formation, and was about to completely break through the heavenly sword life and death bureau grand formation. Boom! The dark clouds that filled the sky dispersed, revealing a monstrous chessboard as transparent as crystal floating high in the sky in general. Jin, the ninth duke, manipulated that transparent crystal chessboard to crush towards the sinful dragon. The sinful dragon was filled with a hideous face. Its blade-shaped scales around its body suddenly exploded and stood up. Its body arched around it, and it charged over with a determination to destroy everything. Because Guhai understood that the crystal chessboard was the source of the heavenly blade life and death bureau. It was everything in the grand formation. Ang, Jun, boom! With a monstrous roar, the surrounding void violently exploded, with an airburst pushing out in all directions. Rumble! A large number of mountains collapsed and fell under the impact of this air explosion. A large number of demonic beasts that couldn't escape in time were instantly buried. The colliding energy enveloped the sin dragon and the crystal chessboard. After 3 whole breaths of time, clatter, 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 the sound of what sounded like crystal shattering rang out. This sound, in the ears of the black-robed man and the Ninth Duke, was filled with endless disbelief. But in the ears of the cultivators in the valley, it was the most melodious fairy music. Broken, broken. Ancient helmsman won. Great, saved, saved. Long live the ancient servant. Long live the ancient servant. Countless cheers rang out. Everyone gradually saw a scene high up in the sky, but they saw the crystal chessboard completely explode into countless fragments. The fragments scattered in all directions, and as they fell, they slowly disappeared into the air, as if they had vaporized. And the winner, the Sin Dragon, at this moment is also not good. That last collision is the power of the same death. The Sin Dragon body, most of the body, is blown to pieces. Only a ball of not too big dragon head is still there. The dragon head is also suddenly transformed into a ball of purple gas, mixed with a hint of heavenly sword breath from the sky, towards the ancient sea. Boom! A cloud of purple chi was Guhai's true chi, instantly rushing into Guhai's body. Buzz! Countless more true chi than what was released before surged into the Danshan and went straight to the Danshan cyclone. It quickly condensed into true essence. Boom! The 9 peanut-sized beads of true essence merged once again, transforming into a larger true essence. Innate realm, 3rd level. Guhai's eyes glazed over. Earlier in the spiritual spring, the spiritual mother's chi was not enough for him to impact the 3rd level, but just now, the outwardly released true chi gulping the power. of the Heavenly Saber Life and Death Bureau fed back and actually helped him break through. And this true chi was still increasing. After a while, Gu Hai felt that he had reached the peak of the third gravity in general, only to stop when his backbone was insufficient to advance any further. However, for Gu Hai, it was already enough. The third level of the innate realm. How long has it only been? A wave of excitement flashed through Gu Hai's eyes, and after twisting his head to look at the chessboard that had already turned into pieces, Gu Hai frowned slightly. Heavenly Blade Life and Death Game. What a powerful old man chess watcher. It's a pity that it wasn't you playing against me. But a pattern was set earlier. That's why I was lucky enough to win the game. Elder chess watcher. If only you were still around. Gu Hai looked at the chessboard, revealing a look of regret. Gu Hai, who had a hard time meeting his opponents, wasn't jealous of those who were strong in chess. Instead, he sympathized with them. He hated that he couldn't play a real game with the old man chess viewer. It was a pity that 800 years ago, the old man chess viewer had already perished. Yun Gong, you won, you won. Xiaora excitedly rushed over. Congratulations, helmsman. Gao Xianzi and Chen Chongchen were also excited. Many thanks to Servant Master Gu. Many thanks to Servant Master Gu. The crowd of cultivators around them cheered. Meng Tai was protected in the center by the people of the One Piece Hall, recuperating from his wounds, while looking at Gu Hai with complicated eyes, mixed with a wave of jealousy, mixed with a grimness. Boom boom boom. Among the surrounding ruins, one by one, demonic beasts slowly crawled out. The demonic beasts were all up to the innate realm. Although they lost their footing and were buried in the earth, their powerful strength allowed them to quickly break free. A large number of peaks collapsed around them, but there were also a large number of peaks that were still standing. On top of a mountain peak, a large number of black-clothed people were embracing the 9 dukes. Heavenly Blade Life and Death Bureau. He broke the Heavenly Blade Life and Death Bureau. 9th Duke. What now? The crowd of black-clothed men looked at the 9th Prince. The 9th Duke looked at Gu Hai with an icy gaze. Killing intent shot out from his eyes. Drip 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 drip. The black-clothed men in the surroundings quickly played their flutes, and a large number of demonic beasts crawled out and immediately surrounded the surroundings. Without the power of the Sin Dragon, the demonic beasts were no longer afraid. At this moment, each one of them showed their teeth and stared in the direction of the ancient sea. As if they were just waiting for an order, the demonic beasts would sprint down. Cultivators in the valley, at this moment, have flocked beside Gu Hai. After cheering, one by one, worriedly looked at the demonic beasts surrounding them. At the same time, they drew their swords, coldly looking at the group of demons. Gu Hai's great breakthrough of the Heavenly Sword Life and Death Bureau seemed to have become the spiritual pillar of all the people. Surrounding Gu Hai, waiting for Gu Hai to unify the deployment. Gu Hai was surrounded in the center, and at this moment, he raised his head and coldly looked at the 9 dukes on the mountain peak. One Piece Hall. Gu Hai, I've met Your Excellency. I wonder how Your Excellency is addressed. Gu Hai took a deep breath and said in a deep voice, You don't deserve to know who I am yet. You destroyed the Heavenly Blade Life and Death Bureau left behind by the Pavilion Master. You destroyed the Pavilion Master's things. The 9th Duke stared at Gu Hai and said coldly, Not worthy to know who you are. Heh, just as well. I don't have much interest in you. The Heavenly Dagger Life and Death Bureau was broken not because of me, but because of you. You're too much of a trustworthy person, Gu Hai coldly said. Too much trust. Ha 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 ha. You think you guys can still walk away? I will still let you guys go. The 9th Duke coldly said. You go back on your word. You don't keep your word. There were sounds of annoyed exchanges all around. Gu Hai, however, smiled coldly and said, You want to leave us behind. Like I said, you're too big for your britches.